Hey,
let's go, Brandon.
hey,
Let's go,
hey.
let's go, Brandon.
Because you'll be in jail.
Let's go, Brandon.
You know what they say?
Welcome, our 5 viewers and listeners, to the Impeachable podcast.
Impeachable offense.
Yeah, that one. Our impeachable topic today. Elliott, would you like to tell them what our topic today is?
Sure, but first thing, I've been requested by one of our many followers to introduce ourselves. I'm Elliott. I'm using the host port on our Vocaster, and this is Caleb.
Oh, I'm Caleb. Hi. How you doing?
Hey,
Who asked us to introduce ourselves?
Daisy,
She knows who we are.
our biggest fan. Yeah. Anywho, we can move on from that. Besides that, cheers.
This is This is a pretty good drink you made.
Thank you.
I'd like to tell the audience what you made.
Mm-hmm. It is a ranch water in wine glasses.
Because we're fancy.
Yeah.
And I'm that secure in my masculinity.
Because it's Spanish style. Oh, gosh. I don't know. I saw it on an episode of Booze Traveler. Where like
You really are an alcoholic.
Yeah. The Spanish drink their gin and tonics in a big wine glass like that. With like blueberries, like raspberries and other fruits or whatever in there. So
I could do that. I could do that with gin.
Yeah, that's like what got me and Daisy through the quarantine part of COVID.
Do you want to use quote unquote for that, or
quote unquote quarantine? Well, I mean, the law school shut down. They're like, all right, Zoom school, everybody. And so we just had a big old thing of Tito's, and yeah, we just made these. So anyhow,
I'm so proud of you.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I mean, why not? Turn to
you.
alcohol.
I know.
All right. So, do we want to talk about little T. Carlson leaving Fox?
Tucker Carlson.
T. Carl.
Oh yeah.
T. Carl. So I don't know as much about this as you do, but I did find it very. It's almost like it. Not that it needed to happen, but I'm surprised that he was even at Fox for so long.
Yeah, he transcended Fox.
Oh yeah, like just in his rhetoric. What?
Can you shut that fan real quick?
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Thanks. Momentary pause.
Oh, you can talk.
Yeah, just kidding.
Because
I'm gonna keep talking.
You know more about this.
I don't want to edit this video so much, so we're doing this. We're doing this live. We're gonna make mistakes, but besides that, yeah. So he kind of really did transcend Fox. Jokes aside, he was the most popular television personality of all time on Fox. Like, blew everybody else out of the water. Like, he was the reason why Fox had like the number 1 rankings for just like back to back years. Like, it's crazy. And I mean, he would have just monologues, and his monologues would just, that would be the news. Whereas other people, they can't do that. Like, you don't see like Rachel Maddow doing that. You don't see Don Lemon doing that.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think that he was kind of above that rule? Like, do you think? I mean, it's easier to say when you're looking at Don Lemon, or however you say his last name,
Lemon,
whatever, and Rachel Maddow, because obviously what they just kind of go on a tirade. So like,
yeah, they just get angry, and they're just like, I'm angry and I'm using my emotion. If you don't agree with my emotions, then you're a terrorist.
Right. And so I had to I text Brooklyn like when I saw that he had left, and I just typed in Tucker Carlson like in Safari just to see what pulled up. And of course you get, the Fox News headline, the MSNBC, the Atlantic, all this stuff. And then I look at CNN's description of Tucker Carlson was far right extremist Tucker Carlson leaves Fox News or something along those lines.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is so like, and everything else was just like Tucker Carlson leaving Fox News, like all this other stuff. And CNN was the only one that had to go like, oh yeah, far right extremist. Yeah, got him.
Oh yeah.
The 5 people that read CNN now, but
man single-handedly responsible for Jan 6.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson. Yeah. I mean, it's very one-sided, but I mean, I think that it's just his bluntness, and he backs everything up with facts. Mm-hmm. Is why people just like him so much. And he came at a time when it was right before Trump's election, 2016, where he was just. I think that's like when he really got big. I can't remember.
Oh, I can tell you when
Was
exactly
it
when he got big. Do you remember? It was a student rally for Bernie Sanders, and he had a student come on, and they were talking about how they're gonna have free college and all this stuff, and Tucker's literally goes like, "But who's gonna pay for it?" And he's like,
Yeah.
well, the wealthy are gonna pay for it, and he goes, "So it's not free."
No.
Like he just, I mean, it's like a 16-year-old student at the time, and he dismantles it. But it went like, I remember that clip just went
It's like
viral.
it's free because my dad pays for it.
Right.
I'm on a full ride, baby. It's
I just remember that clip circulating, especially if you were in college at the time, like we were. We were just like, no, that's not. Stop. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You probably Oregon going liberal.
I can't remember whose spot he took. Was it? Was it Megyn Kelly? No, because she did the debates. It was somebody else's spot.
I was almost gonna say Hannity.
Yeah, I was thinking Handy for some reason, but he's back on.
I could be very. Was it Limbaugh? I'll look it up.
No, was it Glenn Beck?
Maybe I'm looking it up.
Because they fired Glenn Beck just like Tucker Carlson.
Why do you think they fired him?
So the leading theory right now, which I don't agree with, but I'll get to that later. The leading theory right now is that they fired him over the Dominion voting settlement that happened where.
No, it was Megyn Kelly.
Okay, so he took over Megyn Kelly's spot.
Sorry, go ahead.
There we go. Which is weird because she did the debates but I mean, after you get absolutely roasted by my boy DJT, it's like you called all women fat, ugly, pigs, only Rosie O'Donnell. After you get bodied like that, you need to get fired. I'm kidding. But yeah. Anyway. So it was his firing was over the Dominion voting machine lawsuit, and I don't know why, but Fox and what's his name, the Succession guy, real life guy, what's his name, Fox News owner,
the Murdochs.
Murdoch. Yeah, I was editing the podcast earlier, so I'm like, Alex Murdoch.
No, Murdoch.
No, Rupert Murdoch. Murdoch. Okay, we'll just say Murdoch. So for some reason, he was scared about Fox just losing that, even though Tucker and other news hosts literally like laid out like all the evidence of, hey, like this is like what's going on, and I think that you could have proven the case, but also journalists are very, very protected in a defamation lawsuit, where literally they would have to say, I know that this is false, and I'm still going to attack them because I hate them and I want to destroy them. They would have literally had to say something exactly like that. Like, journalists are very protected for defamation lawsuits.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't help. I mean, it would, but if you look at Fox's, and this is going to get into the financial side of it, what was the settlement, like 800 million or something like that, or $1 billion or something along those lines?
All the headlines said $1 billion, but I thought I heard, or I thought I read that it was like $785 million, something like that.
So then, and
north of $750 of $1 billion.
And I don't necessarily know how that would pay out, but I know Fox on their balance sheet, their cash was like $4 billion. So now all of a sudden, after one settlement, you're almost having to pay a quarter of your cash out off your balance sheet. Like, that's going to, like, in terms of a business decision, I guess, like, oh, you cost the company $1 billion, Tucker, if you want to put it like that. But again, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, they do payment plans.
Okay, so I mean, but still, I mean, if you look at it like that, like that's a quarter of your cash on your balance sheet.
Oh yeah, no, it's not insignificant. But also, and there were other hosts on Fox that were
networks.
Yeah, that I mean on Fox especially that were perpetuating this even more than Tucker did. It was a lady, I can't remember her name right now, but another Fox News host that was telling this night after night of Dominion voting machines doing XYZ. They're cheating. I mean the votes are being redistributed in live feed, everything like that.
There was even like maybe I'll get defamation. I think it was CNN back in the day that they were just saying, so could this potentially be hacked? Like, I think they did a special on it. and there was nothing about them. Like there was nothing about that special that got brought up, but it's just the fact that we might think about it like that. Like that Tucker would bring that up, and it's like, oh, he just said they just could be hacked, and they were hacked, and all this stuff.
So I actually looked at. I'm gonna tread lightly here, but I actually had the opportunity to view a clone of the software of a Dominion voting machine, and let me tell you, that backdoor is open wider than.
Be careful.
I'm putting it right there. No, but it is a very, very wide back door where literally you can easily access it and watch like Netflix on it.
What do you mean? Like how? And this is me being more or less devil's advocate. How is you as a non-coder know that?
Because they did it in front of me.
Oh, okay, cool. Never mind.
Yeah. So it's got a huge back door, and they literally were able to go into like this mock voting
like
election
they did like
system.
A simulation of it, and
yeah, basically. I'm obviously not very technically termed with that, but they explained it all, and we were there for hours, and so we saw it. It was crazy. Not trying to get rated right now or anything, but yeah, I mean, for them to say no, like we have no ability to be hacked at all, but then again, people. The vote counters or the people that were in charge, election officials, they were literally watching Netflix. Counters. There's videos of them watching Netflix on
the machine
because it had Wi-Fi access.
And this is the thing that I kind of am afraid of is the fact that no one. I don't. Did he actually claim they were hacked? Because I don't know if he actually said definitively, like, no, Dominion voting machines were hacked and that's how the election was stolen. But if you can't even come to the point where it's like, hey, it's a possibility that something on a Wi-Fi network could be hacked, because that applies to everything. And then the fact that it's saying, oh, you're going to get now a defamation lawsuit brought against you just because you're saying something could happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary to me.
Yeah, he definitely said it has the ability to do this. And, I mean, I think he probably said they were hacked.
I think that's different than what I said. So, yeah, I can understand that. But still.
Yeah, I think. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, there's so many hours of him talking about it. I don't exactly know. Yeah. But I know that for sure that he said they do have the ability to be hacked. But, so that's the leading area of the Dominion voting settlement, but also there's another theory about it that Murdoch's fiance of 2 weeks, like he proposed her for 2 weeks, and they were at the Heritage Foundation 50th anniversary gala event, and Tucker spoke. And he didn't like what Tucker had to say on religion. Now, bear in mind that Murdoch and his children, and he has children and grandchildren that are leftists, like complete leftists. And Murdoch, he says he's on the right, but he blows both ways. But he does not like religion. He does not like Christianity. And what Tucker said was on point. There was nothing, that we would think is controversial. He basically just said there's a spiritual war going on right now, and we have to basically just rely on God. And with all this trans activism going on, just pray. Like, I know that we all have busy schedules, but if you can just take 10 minutes out of your day and just pray for these people, like that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do to win the spiritual war. And afterwards, Tucker was seen talking to Murdoch's fiance of 2 weeks. Sarah, it wasn't Sarah. It was something Smith.
Nice.
Anna Smith.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, sure. No, Anna something Smith, and she was having a conversation with him and like agreeing, like, yeah, like this is right, like I agree with you, and she was like into it, and they were having a good conversation or something, but Murdoch saw it, didn't like it, and subsequently fired Tucker and also broke off the engagement.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Daily Wire kind of talked about it a little bit also, but yeah, that's the other theory, which makes more sense when you think, okay, well, all these other news hosts on Fox talked about it, and especially like one or two others talked about it more than Tucker.
Yeah.
I'm like, just doesn't make sense why you would fire your biggest whale.
Oh yeah.
Like it
By
doesn't
far.
make sense.
Like even more than Hannity at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know if Tucker is in all these polls also for, who would win the next primary. It'd be like Donald Trump. It was DeSantis. I think it was like Nikki Haley third, Pence fourth, or but Tucker was on there.
Oh, really?
Tucker was like fourth or fifth.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean I don't think he is registered.
No.
I'm 99% certain he has not registered to run for president. Unlike DeSantis, who just changed Florida law so that he could run for president while he is still governor.
But he still hasn't announced.
But he still hasn't announced. But as a quick divergence, I think it is. I love Trump. I'm going to vote for Trump. MAGA all day. But it is so dumb to just trash DeSantis constantly all day, call him like Ron DeSanctimonious.
Yeah.
Like, which.
But to be fair,
dumb.
that's how he won 2016 too.
Yeah, people love DeSantis, but my point on that is when you are literally about to be indicted and possibly like extradited back to New York, when your home state is run by the guy that you're supposedly like gonna run against in the 2024 election, why would you sit there and just trash him all day when he's like, and DeSantis came and was like, hey, we're not gonna comply with any extradition request for New York. Like they're gonna have to find some other way, or Trump is gonna have to go up there voluntarily. Why would you trash someone that you are relying on to stop extradition?
I mean, I can say again, it's how he won 2016. I'm not like I guess where I draw my line for Trump is like I think he was what we needed in 2016. I think he did his job, and I think he drew attention to what needed to be drawn to where attention needed to be drawn to, i.e. I think there was always known corruption in Washington of just like, oh yeah, everyone PACs and like all this stuff. But I think he really drew attention to like, no. Like there is some like serious
secret society crap going on.
Career politics, secret society stuff happening. And it's not good. I think he did an amazing job. Like, I don't remember the guy's name, but he wrote the book Drain the Swamp. I don't remember. He was a Fox News host.
Yeah.
But I read the book and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I think he did a great job doing that. Where I draw the line is where he starts attacking other people for wanting to try and pick it up. He's not the best politician. No. And whether we like it or not, you have to play quote unquote politics and to get anything done in Washington.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's just where I draw it. Like, I don't dislike him running for president again, but I probably, like, if DeSantis runs, I'll probably vote for DeSantis.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like that.
And I don't.
But then again, I think Trump being indicted for literally something that's way past the statute of limitations.
Oh,
that's not even a felony nor a federal offense. I think that he's just become a martyr, and now he is transcended local politics like this.
No, and I don't think anything that happens to him as a repercussion of him being or running for president is fair at all, and it's not just.
Yeah.
It's just, again, I think it's just kind of pointing out the fact that there's these people in Washington that are afraid of losing their millionaire paydays because they're in Washington. And what I loved about Trump is most of the people were wealthy before they got to Washington anyway, but he was like legit wealthy, and he was like, I don't need the money. Like, I just want to actually help get this country back on course.
Yeah. Only presidents who ever come out of office with less money than when he went in.
Weird how that happens.
It's amazing.
Weird.
It's like the guy wasn't on the take. Unlike a girl, Nancy.
I mean, I don't know why she doesn't go into her own private practice. She's the best stock picker in the world.
I know.
More than Warren Buffett.
She needs to stay in where she is.
I mean, why? Clearly, she's genius because she just picked some winners.
I know. She's, man.
And man, she couldn't have lucked out with a better husband. He also is a great stock picker.
Oh, I know. I want a stock ticker with like Nancy and Paul's stock picks only.
Oh, yeah.
Just theirs.
I mean, have you seen the Twitter account that literally only trades on what they trade? And he's already up like thousands just because he just copies his trades.
It's great. You can invest some of that into food production, though.
Bitcoin. Oh, you want to move on to food production?
Yeah, I tried to make the transition, but you weren't picking it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a terrible transition. Can I get a 1 in the comments if yes and 2 for no?
F in the chats.
F's in the chat because we're live.
Yeah.
So, what about this new train derailment? Because that seems to be a theme and kind of a recurring theme lately.
Yeah, especially around churches and water sources and outside of major metropolitan areas.
Where was this most recent one?
I'm not sure. I think I said in the Midwest. But yeah, I mean, when you look up the actual number of train derailments, it's stunning. Like, it's dozens of train derailments a year. But then again, it's like, how many of those are carrying chemicals that destroy towns?
I'm not seeing most recent.
Not that many.
I'm seeing one on March 9th. I think you lied to the public.
I did not lie.
Oh, no. Sorry. 2 train cars plunge into river after Wisconsin train derailment. So it was in Crawford County train derailment, sends multiple cars into Mississippi.
Yep. There was that one. And then, I mean, the most famous one that happened recently was the East Palestine, Ohio. And people are dying. I mean, that Mickey Mouse video of that guy that was talking like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, and he wasn't the only person that was talking like that.
And I mean, pets were dying inside the homes, and they're like, no, like, it's totally safe to go in your home. It's totally safe to drink the water. And I saw this. It really does infuriate me that they were like, have a toast of clean water. The water is safe to drink.
Do you want to know the cars that were plunged into the Mississippi? What they contained?
What?
Some of the containers that derailed on shore contained paint and lithium-ion batteries, and a boom was being placed in the impacted area. So it's not, and that's the other part too. It's not like these cars that are being derailed have like.
How do they catch on fire? How do they explode?
But I'm just saying, just the fact that most of the stuff that has been, and maybe it's just the train industry in general, and that's a majority of what they carry is hazardous material. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me. But
I mean, there's lots of pipelines for that too.
But I'm just saying, it's just weird that there are train derailments of like hazardous material. I don't care if it was a little bit or a lot.
Yeah, that's
what
still
hazard. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I was saying, like,
okay.
I was like, there's dozens of train derailments a year, but how many of them are carrying hazardous materials like this that kill towns, kill rivers? Like, it's crazy. And then when it's spilled, do you know what the government officials did?
What,
the cleanup crew?
East Palestine?
Yeah.
They lit it on fire.
Yeah. Like, you know what? To keep it from like soaking to the ground, let's light it on fire.
Which it did anyway. Yeah,
when they did, it made like a big old mushroom cloud, and then it had an acid rain, and
people talk like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, people talk like Mickey Mouse. I mean,
it
went up into Canada.
I just think it's weird that A, this hazardous, but B, like, we'll go to the food production. I mean, we can kind of tie it together. But do you remember in COVID where it was formula, like baby formula plants were being either, I don't remember if it was vandalized or if they were just being like randomly blown up almost.
Yeah.
But then it was also curious because who was pushing almost a synthetic baby formula?
Is it Bill Gates?
It was Bill Gates.
What?
I know. So I'm just saying, It's just kind of weird. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying it's a little coincidental.
It's a little quinky dinky.
And he also is the biggest owner of farmland.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little weird, and I'm not accusing anything. I'm not a.
I didn't know Bill Gates was a farmer. I didn't know Microsoft was about
you didn't know
farmland.
they're in the business of farming. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, that's Facebook. Never mind. I was gonna say, what was the the farming thing on Facebook that everyone was obsessed
Oh,
about?
Farmville or
Farmville,
whatever. Oh
yeah.
my god, I haven't thought about that in ever.
But I'm just saying. I'm not accusing. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am, but not in terms of this. But I'm just saying it's just a little weird, and the fact that he also was saying about the COVID stuff before, just saying it's a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, last year there were like 17 to 21 food production facilities across America that were destroyed, that were burned.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, but on that, Ukraine and Russia are both the world's leading exporters in wheat.
Not the U.S.
No.
Oh.
So it's just weird that all of a sudden we have a war in Ukraine with two of the biggest wheat exporters, and food production facilities are being disrupted. It's just weird. It's just weird.
Never do anything for free. Somebody's a special interest behind this.
Right.
I mean, you don't just do that, or this just doesn't happen on a whim.
And I don't believe in coincidences. It's not like this just started happening all of a sudden because of timing.
No, I mean, reality is much more entertaining than entertainment. And when you actually start looking into all this, what exactly is going on? I had food production going kablowy, tens of thousands of cows suddenly dying, all because of what? Chickens weren't able to lay any eggs over the winter time because of the government feed. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, if this isn't like a coordinated, essentially attack, then what is it? I
mean, and I think the scariest part is I don't necessarily even think it's a coordinated attack from an external entity.
No, I mean, it's happening from people here. China plays a long game. If it's China, they play the long game. They integrate into our system, assimilate into our system the Chinese operatives. Not talking about immigrants here, folks. I'm talking about the Chinese operatives that come from the CCP. They come here, integrate. They're spies.
What are you talking about? They're democratic.
Yeah. I vote for the people pointing the gun at my head. Long live Winnie the Pooh. I mean,
did I do it?
Boom. I mean, so they play the long game and they just assimilate, and those spies. I think I can't remember his name, but he was on Joe Rogan. And he was talking about it of how America goes in. We're like, hey, like we'll pay you off. Like we'll help get your children into
Peter Zahine or whatever his name is.
Is he like a former CIA spook?
Bustamante.
I think.
I don't think
he looked really cool. He kind of looked like Kevin Bacon, but CIA version.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Then I watch a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I do too. That's why we're making one. Yeah, so they like play the long game and like they're here. So it's like technically be like an internal deal. But yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, what is different though? So between I'll just take the three biggest superpowers: China, Russia, America.
Yeah.
Politically, what is the key difference between those three people or those three countries? And it gives the other two a huge strategic advantage.
Disney.
Oh God. We have a new guy every 4 years or 8.
Yeah.
Coming in.
It's supposed to.
We don't have any means of making a long-term plan for our country because the next guy who comes in usually unravels what the last guy did to put his own thing in place. And then he only has maybe, if anything gets done, a year for it to be implemented. China and Russia can just say, oh yeah, in 10 years from now, we can implement this because from the past 15 we did, this leads up to that. Like they have such an advantage of a long game. And I'm not advocating for us to have like a long-term sitting president like both dictatorships have. I'm just saying that does give them an advantage.
Yeah.
Just the fact that China can 15 years ago have a plan for 2030 and they can be right on track with it because the same guy has been in there the past, 10 years now?
Yeah.
12 years now? Something like that?
Yeah, I mean, and Putin was the premier of Russia before then too.
And then he got outed, and then he came back.
Yeah, he was like back for, my encore production.
Have you looked at, I listened to a podcast with the only journalist that Russia has permanently kicked out of Russia.
I thought you meant the only journalist that was still alive in Russia.
Maybe.
I am the only person alive here.
I think he's American, I think.
Oh, wow.
But he was like sent over there, like he was over there for like the fall, like during the Soviet times, like all of that stuff. But he like dug deep, and the only reason he was kicked out is because he dug so deep into what Putin did, like before coming president.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. You should check him out. David Sattler, I think is his name.
Yeah, Putin is a very interesting guy to look up and research. And KGB operative. Oh, I mean, dude. I mean, that dude is. When you look at him doing like judo, I mean, the guy is. He's legit at judo. Even though the guys that he'd be up against in the sparring matches are like, I'm going to take a fall in this 100%. But the dude. Like he's probably like a black belt in judo.
I think he is a legit
black
belt.
He's a legit black belt.
Not like Kim Jong-un's
dude's a killer.
like double black belt mastery thing that he
No.
But
he's probably learned that Aikido from Steven Seagal.
Maybe.
Steven Seagal.
So you know about those like Russian apartment bombings back in the day? Did you know that they caught one of the KGB agents planting the bomb?
Really?
In like it was like an apartment that didn't blow up, and or maybe it wasn't KGB, whatever it might have been before KGB. I don't know the history of it, but it was like essentially that organization. They were like a KGB agent was planting the bomb, and like somebody called the police over and was like, oh hey, like he's kind of suspicious. And do you know what their response was? Oh, good job, you passed our public safety test of reporting suspicious activity. Like, good job on you, Mr. Police and Citizen. Like, yeah, great job. Like, this was all a test.
Way to go.
And like, it was like, no, it wasn't. Stop it. No, there were 3 others that did it. The KGB was like,
oh, nice.
Oh yeah, no, you caught us. Good job. You caught the good public trust. Yeah, good job. You caught us.
Nice.
This was all a test.
Yeah, I wonder what the CIA would do in that situation.
They've probably already.
They just kill more
this
people.
This has all been a test, guys.
Yeah, they'd probably do psyops on everybody as a thank you.
You know what also is crazy is the fact that there was another bank that failed.
Oh, another bank that failed.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Okay. So I think
I love our transitions.
Shut up! We had the good one.
We're so smooth.
It was I want to say it was First Republic Bank in San Francisco, California.
Or the Second Republic?
I think it was first, but whatever.
For the Clone Empire.
Okay.
Sorry, the Clone Republic. Sorry.
It's taking a turn that I didn't know was going down. Okay. Sorry, I just did my best Joe Biden impression there.
You gotta start it quiet, and then you gotta get really aggressive. And you gotta start quiet. You gotta give a smell.
So First Republic. First Republic. So basically, from what I have gathered, the FDIC had to step in and take over First Republic Bank because their balance sheet was so bad of these assets that are degrading, basically. So this is ridiculous, the fact that these banks have been allowed, and mind you, this is after 2008 where a ton of banks had to be bailed out. Or really they bailed out AIG, but that was essentially bailing out all of the other banks. And I don't know, like I just think it's just ridiculous that these institutions have been allowed to keep doing financially irresponsible things, and they're still allowed to operate. Even banks like JP Morgan Chase are like 130% over. It's not even over leverage. I don't even know the correct terminology. But the mere fact that the FDIC had to step in and take over the bank because they had so many clients that had money there that were over the $250,000 insured mark, the FDIC had to step in and say, like, okay, well, this is our bank now. Like they had to step in and say,
Wow.
we run it. And typically what would happen is like if a bank failed like that, you could try and go to like a private fund and like they would buy that and like, kind of take over the bank. But there wasn't any time for them to do that because it was so bad.
Yeah. It's just like that, the banking Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And they had made so many horrible investments, and the management and just the oversight of the internal oversight was so horrible that going back in it, FDIC was like, what exactly were you thinking here? You're
bank
just
was
like
playing,
you were literally like wasting, but you just did this to get rid of the money. Like what?
a bank was playing venture capitalist is what it was. And that's not like when I put my money into a bank, I want I want to be able to get my money.
Yeah.
Like and this kind of just goes down to the whole like money or banking in general is kind of broken, because as soon as you put your money into any kind of bank, they just take it out and loan it out again. But they get their like 6, 7, 8% return on it, and you get a 0.01% in your checking account.
Oh yeah.
So like it's just already broken, but it's just, I don't really understand. And I don't know, I don't have a solution. I'm not that smart, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that whatever system is in place right now isn't working. And I don't really know what to do to fix it either though, but maybe somebody smarter than me can figure that out. But it's just ridiculous right now that major, not major like JP Morgan or anything, big banks are failing.
Yeah.
And this is post 2008.
There's a part of me that's like, yeah, freaking fail. You deserve to fail.
Yeah, but that just sets off a chain.
It does.
Like 2008.
I know that it's really, I mean, but at this point, it's like, what has to happen to make it right? What has to happen to change the system? I mean,
I think
2008 didn't even really do terribly much, because they're still doing because
no bank failed. Think about the only thing
Lehman.
that failed was Lehman, but the only reason they allowed Lehman to fail is because it wasn't so connected with AIG that it didn't set off a chain.
Yeah.
If AIG failed in 2008, I mean, you're talking like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America, like all of the major people that had billions upon billions in assets just fail. Lehman was so far out on the fringe compared to everything that it was like, okay, well, if they fail, it'll hurt, but it's not going to affect the major economy.
Yeah. I mean, there's still, what were the Big Short, what were the housing mortgages that they were doing?
Mortgage-backed securities?
Yeah, mortgage-backed securities. They're still doing that, but they call it just a different name now.
Well, you have different, so back then there are different criteria now for getting a mortgage. Back then you could literally have a 500 credit score and get $1 million house.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff like that. I'm just using that as an example, but then they would basically get a bunch of people that are like that, 500 credit score, $1 million house, and they'd package it up and they'd sell it.
Yeah.
And so when that failed, because nobody who has a 500 credit score is going to be able to make payments on a $1 million house, like that's kind of what set it off.
Yeah.
And then the reason AIG was so, like, do you know, or am I like
No. I
the reason AIG was a insurance company that and I want to make sure I'm saying
they
this
would like
right.
securitize.
Not the mortgage-backed securities. They would insure assets basically, if I'm remembering this correctly, and I want to make sure.
I think they also did the securitization.
Maybe you're right.
When I was in banking law with Professor Henry at Tech, we literally spent all semester just going through like Ben Bernanke's book and like watching The Big Short and just talking about like the 2008 crash and everything. But I mean, it's been years since that, so it's all a little fuzzy. But yeah, it was messed up. It was just built on a very thin foundation, and when it fell hard. But I mean, so we're actually trying to find we were trying to buy a house, and we had a talk with like the mortgage nerd or whatever, the mortgage broker, They were called the Mortgage Nerd.
Be careful, man. He could watch this.
No, the company's called the Mortgage Nerd.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't just insulting, but yeah. So they came out, and it's interest rates are so ridiculous right now. It's like 7%, like on average.
And that's the issue: is housing can go down, but mortgage rates are going to go up when housing goes down.
Yeah, and if you live in Texas, because our banks failed before, I think it was like what in the 80s that all of our banks failed, and so we put policies in place that made sure that wouldn't happen again during the 08 crash. It wasn't as bad for us as it was for the rest of the nation. Like we were pretty good. Like it hurt, but we were pretty good. Like
most of the time when anything bad happens, it hurts, but most Texans are pretty good.
Yeah. So but that's like why when all these interest rates are going up across the country, like interest rates go up, but our housing prices are still relatively staying the same. Like they might go down like 10, 15 grand maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, the home price increased $200,000 over the last year.
Yeah.
Like 10 grand is just a tip.
Yeah.
Not even. But it's to think that 2 attorneys can't even afford a home right now. Like I can't afford it.
Yeah, think about anyone else who's making less than both of you two.
Yeah.
Like
I'm like, how do you do it? But we're seeing apartments pop up all around us, and
well, that's the issue.
It's just getting
because
flooded
nobody
with
can
people.
nobody can afford to buy a house, so they have to live somewhere.
Yeah.
So all these apartments pop up because you have to live somewhere.
Oh, and then when we were at Sky House, where I was paying like I was paying like $2,300 a month
for that.
Yeah,
that thing's tiny. Like, no offense.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I think that's what they tried to increase it to.
26.
28.
Oh, really?
$2,800. They tried to increase it. Luckily, we're moving out of here and moved into this one.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's nuts. And now we pay less than what I was paying over there.
It's the ideal situation.
I know.
And you get more plays here too.
Yeah, we do.
And it's nicer.
I know.
A lot.
The only thing I don't like about this place is we live like in the pool area. So and it echoes.
Oh, yeah.
So people will be loud sometimes, and I'm just like, oh my God. Oh, like the other week, they're like, hey, pool party, like we're going to have a movie starting at like 8 o'clock. Guess which damn movie they chose? Just guess. What is the loudest movie you can think of?
Probably like Hangover or something.
Top Gun Maverick. He was like just blasting. I was like, we walked in because we were like, we don't want to be here when it's that loud. So we went to dinner and we came back at like 10:30, and it was like halfway done. It was like they were still in training, and I was like, damn it. I was like, damn it. Like, I'm just going to go enjoy it. So
yeah, why not?
I went outside with the scotch, and I was like,
what, like on the patio?
Yeah. I was like, I'm enjoying it. Oh my! I think they had to turn it off early because it was so damn loud. That
why not just turn the volume down?
I'm like, whose bright idea was that? It's dumb.
What were the call signs?
Maverick. There was
like
Phoenix.
Like when they're at the mountain and they're having to like evade, and they keep hitting the flares. They're like, Red 2 evading. It's like.
I have no idea, but it was so
Mister
good.
Going down.
Yeah, it was such a good movie.
It was really. It made me feel good to be American.
And the fact that they were even in the cockpits.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And like when the shot they used for Miles Teller when they like inverted like upside down to go inside the volcano thing, he like actually came out of his seat because it wasn't tight enough, and he like hit his helmet. We're like, that's the one.
Use that one.
Yeah. But yeah, so they decided to use that movie.
I feel like as an actor, I would just be like, cool, thanks guys. Really sick shot. Thanks, man. Pay me millions of dollars, but that's the shot you're using. Sick.
Oh yeah. But I mean, dude, they were awesome in that movie.
Great movie.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely amazing movie.
That beach volleyball scene.
You know, I've been compared to having Miles Teller body. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Do it. Yeah. So they like, for some reason, they didn't get the shot right. And so the director had to call them back like after they'd already finished filming to reshoot the beach scene, and these guys had been like starving themselves for that scene.
So I'm sure they had like,
and so they had to like go back and like get back in shape.
ugh.
Miles Teller had to regrow his mustache. That scraggly stash. And yeah, so they had to come back and do that. But yeah, I'd still love the song though by One Republic. I can't remember the name of the song.
Was it in the movie or something?
It's like, everything's gonna be alright. Stepping in my head, coming in the steady. I worried about it right. Yeah, worry. I don't know. Wait.
Can't worry about it
Right now.
Yeah, that one.
That should be our intro song.
I'm good.
Instead of
And is it us singing it?
Instead of Let's Go Brandon, we should be like, everybody right now.
Just me and you.
Yeah.
Everybody right now.
You know who loves that song?
Ooh.
OnlyFans girls.
Do tell.
Seamless. Have you noticed that there are a lot fewer hot girls working at like stores, restaurants, fast
Elliott.
food?
I have no eyes for only
Okay.
one person. Brooklyn. You. Continue.
Have you noticed?
Yes.
What do you think that is?
Because they can just go to OnlyFans.
Literally.
Yeah.
I think that's my theory of why just attractive girls have not been working.
Like, have you seen some of the stories about how much money
hundreds of
women can
thousands,
make a
hundreds
month?
of thousands
a month?
Yeah.
Like, why would I go back to a job like that? Like, you better, but well, I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
Maybe because one day you'd want to get married and have children and not literally be a freak. But again, degradation of our society is,
Oh, 100%.
it doesn't even matter. It's like
100%.
it's like you respect my decision to do sex work.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
if
like-
you don't, you're in the wrong.
Yeah. And I hate how like pages and groups like Barstool just grandize OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It's like they have this huge platform and you're like, yeah, like I do OnlyFans. They literally talk about OnlyFans all the time.
Really? I haven't watched in a while.
It pisses me off. I'm like, oh, is this
Which
the,
I don't
the news
get
on the
because
stars?
it's not like Pornhub had like something. It's not like Barstool wouldn't be promoting Pornhub,
No.
but it's essentially the same thing.
They like make jokes about Pornhub, but it's not like
They wouldn't be like
yeah.
grandizing it.
No.
But we can do it about OnlyFans because it doesn't have the word porn in it.
Yeah, and probably because Dave Portnoy has some kind of interest in it.
Oh, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, and even then,
Yeah.
other shows do it, but they wouldn't be promoting other
Pornhub,
porn sites.
Hustlers.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, even there was a New York judge who had an OnlyFans. I think he still has it too.
He?
Yeah.
Oh.
He
Good
he
on
was
him.
like 45, 50 maybe, and he was like, ripped, whatever. I don't know. And he's like, I think I want to have an OnlyFans. I
Have
think
fun,
that's
bud.
a smart decision to do, to show my face and be
Have
like,
fun,
hey,
bud.
I'm a New York judge. Like, it's so, like, people are just dumb. Like, you think you're not going to get found out? Literally, you have to.
What, did he just hide his face or something?
I don't even think so.
So then how would he not get found out?
Exactly. It's like, you're dumb. Turns out it's the judge that's doing the Trump trial.
Is it?
No.
Oh.
I'd be like, wow, what a queen.
Huh,
What a quinky dink.
dink.
Yeah, but I mean, all the ethics stuff that we have to go through as attorneys, and especially for a judge. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go be OnlyFans.
I mean, I guess
I'm gonna
ethics is now ethics is subjective.
I mean, it's not very subjective on what we have to sign.
That's fair.
You
Very
know,
good point.
And he knows the rules of ethics. That, I mean, it's a code.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're all beholden to it. So he decided to go put his summary judgment out on the old internet.
I don't, yeah. It's just kind of, I mean, I just keep going back to what did the Roman Empire look like before it fell?
They were obsessed with sex.
Obsessed with sex.
Obsessed
there
with,
was no sex.
Yeah, obsessed with gender.
Homosexuality.
Abortion.
It was just kind of this nonchalant care of life
Mm-hmm.
and what was right and wrong. And that was near the end of that empire's reign.
And they had weak leaders.
Weak leaders. There wasn't really a military emphasis.
Mm-mm.
Like there was a total, you have all this influence, but there wasn't a military presence, i.e. like how we kind of just decided to pull out of Afghanistan. Like, I'm not saying play world police, but if you're going to have a base there, have military there. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have a reaction force for a reason.
Yeah, I mean
we're at a constant state of readiness for a reason. Why not keep it that way? Like the Bagram Air Force Base in Bagram International Airport in Afghanistan is like a key point in the Middle East between all of the countries over there. But we just said, nah, give it back to the terrorists.
Yeah.
So I just think it's just I always go back to what happened to the Roman Empire. And I think we're like at the very we're at the beginning of it, and I'm afraid because I don't think it gets better.
It doesn't. And I've always thought this, it's like, we're very much believe in, the Bible and word of Jesus and word of his apostles. And I mean, Revelation, it's pretty clear that all this is going to come to a head.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I want the world to get better and want to do everything I can to help us, be the best that we can.
Yeah.
But it's like also at some point it's going to come to a halt.
Well, and I think
how much can we do?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lost cause, but then.
But I think to like, I guess, wrap it up, I would like to end on a positive note.
Dad advice?
Well, no, but I think like for anyone wanting to do genuine good in the world, and by that I mean moral good, I guess, like objectively moral, ethical good. I mean, you stand out, like you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing. You're going to get hate for it, but I think it's a great thing to stand out and say, it's wrong. Like this isn't what should be happening. This isn't what's supposed to be happening. And you're going to get attention for it.
You're going to get attention for it. And people are going to judge you by your race, your sex, your skin color, your education.
Anything. And that's the other part. You can be judged by anything.
And it doesn't matter.
You're not qualified.
I know. They're going to judge you for all of it, and it doesn't matter because you're still called to do God's work and bring his kingdom to be on earth. So you want to end it on some dad advice?
Sure. What's your dad advice for today?
No, you go first.
My dad advice?
Your dad
I was going to
advice.
steal your dad's dad advice.
Do it. What is it?
All right. I was kidding. I don't have any. What is yours?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Because we're not dads, by the way. So.
Yeah, we're not dads, so we're trying to think of it. Go to the gym, touch grass, take your supplements, and pray 10 minutes a day.
Also, how's your intermittent fasting going?
I stopped doing intermittent
All right,
fasting.
good call. Never mind.
No. So I actually do for breakfast I do like this smoothie juice, and then I skip lunch, and I just do dinner.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So not intermittent fasting, but it
reduces the calories.
Yeah, it reduces the calories, and I mean I either do like a yogurt or like a smoothie.
Nice.
A smoothie drink, and so that really helps like with digestion. So I lost weight so far. So
there you go. That's all that matters.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this has been
Impeachable Offense.
Impeachable Offense. We thank you for tuning in.
Swipe up.
Whatever that means.
Promo code.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Let's go, Brandon.
Hey.
Let's go, Brandon.
Hey.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey.
Let's go, Brandon.
Because you'd be in jail.